Hi, Liz. You're first. You made it. You got there. Uh, Welcome. So, I did a speed test because I noticed that my internet is absolutely struggling right now. And my download rate is in the toilet. It's less than 1, which is terrible. But my upload rate seems to be unaffected by whatever's happening, so I'm going to soldier forth and assume that it's going to work, which is very strange. I took a. I will drop it in Discord because it is a fucking. Sorry. Should not be cussing. Um, where did I put that? There it is. So, as long as that holds, as long as the upload rate holds, doesn't matter how bad the download rate is, because you guys can still see me. I'm still going out. I just have to switch off my monitoring thing and accept that if I open up any additional tabs, they're going to lag out like crazy. Um, so I guess we're going to soldier forth. Today I have a couple of things. One of which I left over here. I should have had this on hand so I could just pick it up. Today we have a couple of interesting things. Number one, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a crossover event in the food world. Oreo flavored Coke and Coke flavored Oreo, and I would like to give them a taste. So at some point today, we're going to do that. Neither of those have been opened. I haven't tasted them. I have no idea what's going on. Flemish, hi. Welcome in. We'll see if this whole mess continues to work. It's a mess on my end. Hopefully you guys don't even notice. Part 2 of today's nonsense. I got some surf. And some turf, both on discount. So we got to use both of them. So we're going to combine them into something. Rayu just had the Oreos. Hi, Rayu. Welcome in. I haven't tried either of them. I'm going to set aside a time. I think I'm going to record it. We're going to wait. I'm not going to do it right at the start. But we're going to wait a little bit. If we slide on over the surf, they're both discounted. The surf is shrimp. The turf is top sirloin fillet. We're gonna have to use both of them because they're both discount, use them or lose them, time limited things. So I'm not sure what I've been debating what I'm going to do with them. I have some ideas. I'm not just going to make this as a steak. We're gonna break this up. We're gonna do something with this besides just cook it as a steak because I don't really want just a big hunk of meat. Also, and this I don't know which ones of these we're going to use. They're over here in the other room, and they look a little gnarly. So we're also going to see if they're okay. We got in the discount bag, in the reduced produce, jicama, celery root, and oh god, yams. And they're still in their bags because I haven't even gotten them out of the bags yet. These are the bags that I find at the grocery store. As you can see, 99 cents for whatever's in the bag, for whatever they've decided to put in the bag. And I'm probably going to use just one of those, and I'm leaning towards jicama. Garlic shrimp and beef over noodles is actually not far off of where I was thinking. I was thinking we slice this real thin. These are already cooked, so they just need to be heated up. I don't want to cook them or they'll turn into little rubbery things. So they just need to be heated up so they can go in right at the end just to get some heat. We can slice this, if we slice this guy real thin with maybe some jicama, some onion, some bell pepper. I've got a couple bell peppers. I've got some jalapenos. We could make like a stir fry thing. And do like a surf and turf stir fry. And then jicama, this one, of our pile of roots. You can see why they're in the discount bin. The cut ends are a little creepy, so we're gonna peel them. But they're nice and hard still. And that's the deciding factor for root vegetables. We should just get these out of here. That's the deciding factor for root vegetables typically, is as long as they're still like firm, then that, which is obviously a little bit of mold, is just on the surface. And they're nice and firm and hard, so Hasselback. Maybe not quite. That's where you slice it real thin, but not all the way through, and like baste it. Right? If I'm thinking that back. I can't really look stuff up effectively because, as mentioned at the top, my internet is being a butt right now. So you guys can see me, and I can barely see you, and I definitely can't look stuff up. We've also got celery root, which I look at a lot, but it's just a little bit too pricey where I am for me to want to just grab one and experiment. 3 for $1 is, on the other hand, very affordable. So we could experiment with celery root. And then these are, according to the package, white yam. Ooh. Oh, there's the one. They need to air out for sure. They're getting a little bit creepy in that bag. So we got all these roots. We got a million roots. Which again, we're going to trim up these guys, get that green spot off, and check and see if they're actually any good on the inside. We're starting with that. This guy right here. We're going to see, because this is the danger. The danger of getting discount produce. Sometimes it works out. Usually I check them. Usually I check them before I just go live with them, and this time I did not. You saw them come right out of the bags. So let's find out if they're nice and white on the inside. Yeah. So yeah, it's literally just a little green spot right where the cut end was. Now, I cannot recall the last time I cooked with jicama. It might have been never. It might actually have been never. So we might be in a realm of experimenting. I like how this skin kind of peels. Thin slices, you can put butter and cheese in between. Yes, that's exactly it. It might work with jicama. Jicama is a bit of an interesting vegetable. So I had an idea. I have an idea for what could end up being a series or YouTube video even, which is take a vegetable that's maybe less familiar, like jicama. Get that and just like show off what you can do with it. Because I feel like a lot of people in America, go to the grocery store and they see odd vegetables that they're not familiar with. Ooh, the back side of this might be. You know what? We're going to cut this clean in half and see if there might be a black spot right through the core. That mark on both ends has me a little concerned. Oh, no, it's literally only that deep. It's literally only that deep. Okay, we'll just cut that away. But I feel like people look at these vegetables that they're not familiar with and just like, I don't know what to do with that, and then they don't eat it. And they'll only encounter it when they look up a recipe that calls for it, as opposed to grabbing it and playing around and discovering what it can do. Well, I currently have quite a bit of free time, and I use that to go hunting for bargains. That side looks good. This side does not look as good. I think we might have to carve these away a little bit too much to do a nice Hasselback with them. But like, when you go to the store and you see a thing that you're unfamiliar with on sale, Flemish, do you buy that thing, or do you look at it like, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm not going to get it? Because I feel like that is the prevailing mentality. Whereas what I do is I go looking specifically for whatever's on discount, and I grab that, and then I figure out what I'm going to do with it. There's definitely a fibrous skin on the outside of this, much like a kohlrabi, that needs to be cut away. I can see that as I'm cutting into it, that there's this fibrous layer. I didn't mention this when I cut into this initially, but this thing smells like nuts, like tree nuts. A little bit like peanuts. It's kind of like very nutty, very, very like nut-like, which is interesting. I have been told that you can eat this stuff raw, so I'm going to give it a taste, and we're going to see what I think of it. Mysterious food. That's a good way to put it. For me, jicama is one of those things where I didn't want to pull the trigger on it because I wasn't sure what to do with it at full price. But now I found it on discount. So now we get to play with it. This is what led me to breadfruit. We've had a lot of fun with breadfruit. Okay, unfortunately that fun peeling there did not work because you still have to cut away this fibrous underlayer. I've also had some fails. The Tamarillo, I was not a big fan of, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it because it's like, ooh, there's a spot. That doesn't look the greatest. How deep do you go, Spot? How deep do you go, Spot? About that deep. Okay. Well, I mean, it was discount. So we've lost a bit. But considering that the whole thing was functionally 25 cents, because there was 4 of them in that dollar bag, it's pretty good. Jicama is apparently a root in the pea family. I mean, if you want a pea in the family, I'm not going to stop you. The texture is like, it's like a dry apple. It's very crisp in that sort of apple crispness way, but it's not juicy as I'm breaking into it here. Let's find out. The texture is very much like an apple, but not juicy. It's like a dry apple, but it's very crisp. And you know, it doesn't taste nutty. It smells very nutty. It tastes like green garden peas. It really does. Wow, that's no, it's much less firm than potato. Raw potato is unpleasantly hard. This is much more like an apple. Like I could just take a bite out of this. It's very nice texture for eating as is. But the flavor is like a pea, for sure. Wow. It's very distinct. Okay. You can put peas in a stir fry or a yeah, it's textured like an apple, it tastes like peas, and it's also not juicy. It's ever so slightly dry in the mouth. I I like it. It feels almost like it's meant to be just eaten as is, as like a raw snacking thing. I bet you it's really healthy. Yeah, that is interesting. Okay. Since it's the texture of an apple, it probably goes soft when you cook it like an apple does. So you wouldn't want to cook it very long. Which a stir fry again would be a good application for that, because you wouldn't have it on the heat very long and you'd be tossing it, so you'd get some heating and you'd get some browning on the surface without just letting it go to mush. Could you make a pie from it? I bet you could. I bet you could make like a, because it's not sweet at all. Um, you could make like a savory pie and put this in like you would with apples. I bet you that would work. Based on the texture alone, it seems very similar to like a firm apple. Intriguing. What do we do with it? I mean, logic says at this point I do a surf turf garlic sort of quick fry with this stuff, and we've got some hot peppers. We've got an eggplant. We've got an eggplant. A lot of my produce sits in the other room now because we don't have room to lay it out in here. I've got too much. It's the season of fresh produce, and it has been coming in. I've got piles of it. What do we do with it? What do we do with it? It doesn't have to be an Asian stir fry. We don't have to lean into Asian flavors to make a stir fry. We can use the stir fry technique with like different flavor profile. I've done stir-fried Italian noodles before, and that works. They stir-fry pretty well. You just have to keep them moving or they'll stick. We could pull something like that together. Use the big pan, do like a... Oh, okay. And we've got beef. Got parm. I've got some mushrooms. That's a third protein. Brainstorming. We've also got potato. Dice it aside. I was thinking of like sticks. I was thinking like, because I want them to be big enough that they'll retain some of their crunch. So I was thinking like that. Like fat fries. I wonder if you could turn this into fries. Like French fries? It's not quite as sturdy as a potato. It might not hold up to being French fried. That is interesting stuff. That is interesting stuff. What else have I got? I've got curry. Just did curry. I don't want to do curry again. I've got Mrs. Adler's fish bits, but that's another protein. Okay. Okay, so if I assume... Oh, and rayuya. I have not forgotten about the broccoli recipe. I'm just being terrible and dragging my heels. Okay, it needs squeak onion, regardless of which direction I take this. If we do this, onion, pepper, this is functions like a starch. Jen! Hi, welcome. We're brainstorming, Jen. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? We're in the brainstorming session of we're trying to combine the things you currently see into a dish. I'm intrigued by jicama, and thankfully I've got 3 more so we can really play with it. I'm convincing myself into a stir fry, but I'm not convinced of the flavor profile I want to go for with it. What the hell? Begone, fly. It's been really hot, and my neighbor's moving, and I think he may have disturbed. Jicama mash. It would go soft. Okay. See, I think this is the first time I've tasted jicama. And I'm noticing that it is less sturdy than a potato and similar in texture to an apple. And I know apples go quite soft when you cook them, but not all vegetables behave the same way. Water chestnuts also have a very similar texture to apple, and they are notorious for staying extremely crunchy even when cooked to heck. So maybe I should try cooking it and see what, cooking bit of it and see what it does. I'm peeling an onion because I know I'm going to want onion in our finished dish regardless, so we're just, as I'm brainstorming and talking my way through, just prep up some onion here. Laogan Ma chili oil with fermented soybeans. But it has the small. Well, the one I've got, Spicy Chili Crispy, has a couple of those beans. I don't know if you can see them down in there. I know that this brand, Laogan Ma, makes a whole bunch of these, and they're all slightly different, and they're all supposed to be really good. But the only one I ever see is this one, and I think I would have to take the long drive into Minneapolis to get a market that will supply me with the other varieties, because my small town it's a city, but it's a small city, so it is kind of limited on what it receives. We have parsley. I keep looking at other proteins and thinking about what to do with them. See, I have to take a trip for that. As much as I like my my local selection, there's definitely a few things that I can't get on hand immediately. Okay. We are. Hi, Bookwoman. So, number one, we're using both of these today because they're both use it or lose it discount. So, we're using them so we don't lose them. Number two, there was a lot of roots in our discount bin. So I got 4 jicamas. There's one. And it had a couple of spots. We've cut them away. We're brainstorming the remainder. I've cut up an onion because I know I want to use an onion. But we're kind of flailing about it a little bit. I've also got celery root and yams that came out of the discount bin. Ooh. Maybe we should use... Ooh, I just picked up that yam, and that yam has a soft spot. That specific one, not all of them, just that one. Which makes me think we should use that one now, because if it's got a soft spot, that means it's gonna go real quick. That changes a little bit. What if we make a... What if we pull that out of there and take a look at him close up? This guy. That blemish is not just a blemish, it's actually a soft spot. The rest of him is pretty firm, though. What if we make... It's a big yam. What if we make a yam mash type thing. And then we can serve our surf turf stir fry thing on top of that. And then I'm not doing stir fried with the noodles. Internet's chugging, internet's chugging. No, internet, I didn't say sweet potato, I said yam. There's a difference. White yam, because this isn't sweet potato. If I cut this thing open, ugh, that one's so big. It's white yam. The yams might not last very long. Selena! Jen, you're not first. Jen requested a moisten. Moist. Wow, and there's a discoloration happening immediately upon me cutting it. These fellas might not be as viable as I had hoped. No, this is not a sweet potato. This is a yam, and they are, in fact, different. And I believe they're not actually related to each other. They are just coincidentally similar tuberous roots. Ooh, boy, and it wants to oxidize when you expose it to air real quick. Okay. Okay. We're playing. We're playing. We're experimenting. We're diving into the unknown. We're trying to not cut my fingers here. Oh God, look at how fast that discolors. Guess you got to work quick. Well, I'm putting them in some water so that they don't discolor quite so fast. I've never seen a vegetable discolor quite that fast. We're going to boil them. Yeesh, look at it go. Well, that part was actually a spot. It's a root, so I'm going to treat it like a root, and we're going to put it in cold water. Whoa, 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 something happened. Something happened. Sorry, as I mentioned at the very top, my internet is being weird in terms of showing me stuff. My upload rate is fine. My download rate is having a fit. So hold on. Which means I have my preview turned off so that I can kind of save on that end. What? What? Oh my God, Bookwoman. Bookwoman. 5 subs. You blasted that hype train right into level 2, out of nowhere. Happy September. That's right, it's September. The time of the year when subs are tempered. Ooh, that is definitely a bad spot. Thank you so much. You hit Bosque, Ryuya, Selena, Redweird, and normal value. If any of you are here, I know one of you is. If any of the rest of you are here, throw a... Wow, that's a... Might just be a rotten spot. Throw Bookwoman a thank. Celebrating September. We definitely have a rotten spot here. If you're going to buy discount produce, learn not to freak out when you cut open your vegetable and you find a big weird gross thing on the inside. Just cut around it and move on with your life. Now, if it's shot all the way through, then, you know, use your judgment. Flemish! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's all kicking off. I suppose we're in the second half of the month where we get the discount. Flemish! Also dropping 5 sub bomb. Oh my God! You hit MJ. Texas Cryptid, Brutal Butcher, Lust for Uncle. Oh, I said it out loud and I understood exactly what it was. Well played, sir. And Cinnaboo. And you still managed to dodge Jen. Oh my God. It's all popping off. I gotta turn my boiling water on. Or we're never gonna get this done. With the September discount, well, thank you so much. I, of course, greatly appreciate it. How much mash do I want? I probably don't want to do another one of these right away. I'm going to end up eating white yams for the next couple of days just because they are clearly on the cusp of going off and I have to get through them. So maybe I'll do a surprise follow-up stream. Level 3 hype train. Damn. My thing's going nuts. It's all bouncy and happy and bouncy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. There's me appreciating it. I'm appreciating here. Gosh, we got all these people in here. I gotta pick a time because I want to do a taste. We've got a fun taste test here. What with our Oreos and Coke. Pick a time when y'all are ready for it. Liz, put pork chops, apple cider, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, microwave cheesy scalloped potatoes, and green beans. That does sound good. I actually don't have any time growing this right now, Selena. I've had terrible luck growing thyme, and you can buy it in a big tube, and it's just as good. It comes in a big tube, and it's just as good. Okay, what was I doing? I was boiling some white yam. We cut up some onion. We're going to toss some onion, some fresh garlic. These are already garlic flavored. Some additional butter. I haven't tasted either of them. Hi, Jay. Welcome in. I haven't tasted either of them. I'm going to do them live. We're going to do it live at some point. We could do a fresh slaw with the jicama. The jicama, by the way, is not discoloring at all, unlike a apple. We're going to hang on to the celery root. I'm not going to do the celery root this time. Okay, let me find my big crazy pan. Okay. I think we have a concept. I think I have a concept of where we're heading with all of this now. So, this jicama is really tasty. I'm going to just get some of these and snack on them. Or rather, have some of these and snack on them since I have 3 more. Oreo Coke. This right here, Oreo Coca-Cola. We're going to taste it at some point. And also, Coca-Cola Oreos. We're going to taste those at some point. Oh! What emotes did we get? I got the balloon dog. Well, thank you so much. Very exciting. Hype train. Damn. That puts us, I think, oh, I can't look at my thing right now because my internet's been weird. I think that puts us just 3 short of our sub goal. I have a sub goal. Or did I put a follower? I can't remember. The next threshold for getting like unlockable rewards is 25, I think. We're at 22 at the moment. Very exciting. Got a bowl. Jicama on the side. Do a little bit more of it. I think I want a little bit more of it. You got the balloon dog too. I think everybody got the balloon dog unless they already had the balloon dog. And by everybody, it would be you and Flemish. Okay. The main players are here. We need to tail these shrimps. The gift that keeps on giving. The balloon dog, he does keep coming back. Otters holding a half heart each. I haven't seen that one. That one sounds delightful. Oh, Carbon Jen. Sorry, I called you Carbon. Jen, I missed that completely in the midst of all the rest of that. 100 bits. I owe you a noise from my mouth. Which noise would you like? That's all I could think of to make rewards. There's a lot of shrimp in here. Um, something fun. Something like. There you go. I gave you a Fat Albert noise. There's a lot of shrimp in here. We might not use all these shrimp. There's a lot of. Oh, they packed a lot of shrimp in this little thing. Okay, we need butter. We need our shrimp tail bag. The shrimp are pre-cooked, so they're just going to go in long enough to get heated, so they're not going in cold. Otherwise, they'll shrivel up to nothing. There's one fly, and I'm sure he can now smell the shrimp, so he's going to be hanging around unless I can get him. I got him. Yes, so they are pre-cooked shrimps. Lost one of my tails. We also need to slice up the meat. The meat, I want to be real thin. Okay, let's salmon and orzo. That sounds good. Just salmon and orzo? Paint us a picture of the flavors you're constructing. Or don't, if you don't want to. We're going to go with half olive oil, half butter as my base here. Garlic, dill on the salmon, orzo seasoned with pesto flavored olive oil. So, basil flavored olive oil. Because I don't think you can extract the flavor of Parmesan into olive oil effectively. Not that that sounds bad. Basil flavored olive oil sounds great. But I suspect that's what that is. I have a sneaking suspicion. I feel like I want something green and or red in this mix. Or orange. I've got some orange bell peppers. I feel like orange, brown, pinkish orange. We need something green. We need something green. What do I have that's green? I had some jalapenos, but they turned red. What do I have that's green? Posted a pic in the Discord. I will check that out afterwards. Thank you for doing that, though. I love seeing your guys' food. I love seeing your guys' food. Uh, those are mushrooms. I got a lot of mushrooms. We're gonna do something with mushrooms. Ooh, that's right. I have some fresh basil that I used for our last thing, the pizza. And because it's in one of these little thingies, it's not going to keep very well. So I got to use that up. That would be a decent. It's not going to be green when you cook it, but it's going to give us a nice basil-y flavor. I wish I had some asparagus, but it's the wrong season for asparagus. So all the asparagus right now is bad. Parsley. Our white yams are boiling. Parsley is green. If we're going for like an almost Italian style stir fry. Megs, hi, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Put those guys back in there. We just had to get the tails off. How's it going? We're in full-on no recipe experiment mode today. And we're playing with multiple ingredients that I've never used before at the same time. But I think we're going in a sane... I mean, it's never sane. This guy. How does he look? He doesn't look that bad. How does he smell? He doesn't smell bad, but he doesn't smell like super fresh. So definitely on that edge of using him. We don't want the tiny knife for this. We need a long knife for long strokes. If I'm going to get this guy cut real thin. Oop. Long knife for long meat. A long knife enables you to make these cuts. Ideally, for meat, you'd have like a really long knife, and you'd just have a single motion. This knife's not quite long enough for that. Like those really big, like sushi sabers, so that there's no sawing, which is especially important for delicate meat. Because the sawing motion will cause the fibers to kind of tear apart. So you want to just, so I'm doing as much as possible, stroke forward, stroke back, so that I'm getting these nice pieces. As it gets thicker, it's getting a little bit harder to do that. The fat, see my hand is shiny, the fat cap is melting onto my hand a little bit, which is impressive. And a good sign for us actually getting it to render a bit. I just heard my yams spit. We might have to check on those. This is honestly a nice piece of meat for the $4 I paid for it. If I was a big steak guy, I might be excited to eat this as a steak. I bet you this is why it was in the discount bin. It's cut in sort of a funny wedge. So it would be almost impossible to cook this as a steak. WeFormer has donated 100 bits to the cause, and just like Jen, has earned a mouth noise from me. Which mouth noise would you prefer? That is our unadvertised reward for donating 100 bits, is you get a mouth noise. Also, pumpkin French toast sounds like a thing I would be on board with as well. I guess our pile of meat here is just about the same as our pile of shrimp, so I think I'm happy with our proportions. Dealer's choice. That's what Jen said. Let's see. Jen got Fat Albert. So you get race car noises. Meow, meow, meow. There you go. Okay. Wow. Keep an eye out for that cut, because it was not expensive before the discount, and then it was heavily discounted. It might be worth picking that one up again. They were a little bit like cat. I did also notice that they were a little bit like cat noises, cat race car noises, like cat bus, but as a race car. Okay, we have yam, jicama, onion, beef, shrimp, parsley, basil, garlic, Fat Albert wielding a lightsaber. Meow, meow, meow. Oop! I can see through the paper that we have a bad clove right there. Let's see how bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not even going to break into that one. Unfortunate, but it happens. The rest of them look fine. That paper out of there. That one's going in the trash. Clove, 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 clove. So the shrimp was pre-flavored with garlic and butter and black pepper and possibly parsley, because it had little bits on it. So we're kind of leaning into that. Now, garlic and butter as a flavor combo can do anything, so we didn't have to lean into that. What if I really amp up the herbs, throw in all of this basil? If I throw in all of this basil, since it's also getting a little bit gnarly around the edges, a whole bunch of that parsley. My mint in my garden has all gone brown, so I can't do fresh mint anymore. We're gonna have like a brown butter thing going on because I'm gonna do this at a higher temperature, so the butter is for sure going to brown. I should check on our slide over here. I mean, they look the same. They look the same. Let's see how... Very soft. Very hot. Don't eat it directly off of your sharp knife. Mmm. Oh, that's interesting. Doesn't taste anything like sweet potato or regular potato. It's almost got a, like, I don't know. Ooh, that's really good. Also, it's done. So we can get those out of there. That is our mash. I'm going to use the slotted spoon and get them out of there. There's a few discolored spots that didn't go away. That's tasty. It's... Oh, what's that? It's slightly sweet, but not as sweet as like a sweet potato. It has a slight, like, celery edge to it, but also, and this is going to sound weird, a little bit of a vanilla edge to it. In a really strange way. It smells like chicken broth. Very faintly. Boy, this white yam is doing everything except being a potato. It's like vanilla celery chicken. Weird. Weird. Yeah. I should not have done the meat on this cutting board, that's for sure. Are we peeling? I think we're doing a... I think we're doing a crush and peel this time because I want to get them crushed up regardless. Oh, I missed something. Obi-Wan let you wield his lightsaber at Comic Expo. Oh my goodness. On Saturday. Like this weekend? Damn. That's amazing. Ugh, I should have peeled these. I should have peeled these with the tube. Wow. That's amazing. I'm reasonably jealous. Not excessively jealous, reasonably jealous. Eh. many garlic. When I saw the one bad clove in this remainder of this head of garlic, I just on the spot decided we're going to use up the whole thing. Since I have more garlic, there's not a shortage of garlic, and if one clove is starting to go off, then the rest of it is also at risk. So we're just going to use it up. There we go. Use it up rather than lose it. And oh, you guys were over there. I was over here doing this. We're just going to go with a regular coarse hack at it a little bit. You know. I think we're going to start cooking actually now. In the big pan, let's get the heat on slightly high. Garlic house back. Olive oil, butter in the pan. Do I throw some scallions in there just to be in there? No, but I am going to take one of my... Oh, darn, I just bought that. Shoot. The other two are fine. Well, darn, one of my 3 jalapenos I picked up and it's gone soft, so I'm throwing that one away. This is a jalapeno pepper. It's been quite warm, as in full-on summer around these parts. So some of the vegetables that I normally leave out because it's not a big problem are not holding up quite as well as I typically expect them to. Okay, take your jalapeno pepper. Get it started. And your onion. Okay. Okay. I say okay a lot. Have you noticed? I have. Yes, I typically leave my peppers out. And what usually happens is as they start to get slightly older, they wrinkle, they sort of dry out. And that's my sign that they're getting old. They don't usually go soft right away, unless sometimes they do. And they typically only do when the weather is against them. Here's one. Here's one that I actually have had for a bit. And it has been sitting out, but it's just gone wrinkly. Perfectly good. Just dried out a little bit. And that's usually what my peppers do. And eventually, if you keep forgetting about them, you get these shriveled up boys. As long as the outer skin is intact, I have not tried that, Jen. No. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Wow, that's quite the word you've got there. Caramelize the milk. I've never heard of it. I don't know where to find it. Now, I keep mine on out because they go soft rather than go, or they dry up rather than going soft. But that said, I did just throw one out because it had gone soft before it was able to dry out, which isn't a great sign. So it can backfire, but typically, yes, I keep peppers, onions, all these root vegetables, eggplants, cucumbers. I keep them all at room temperature. And my room temperature is also relatively stable because I have an air conditioner. So that is also a factor. It's not getting crazy hot in here. Ideally, you use everything up before it even becomes a factor. That needs to be hotter. Ideally, you use things up before the spoilage becomes a factor. Jen, that sounds amazing. I don't know where I would begin to look. Probably have to take a trip to the Minneapolis markets again. Turn the heat up on these because I want to start getting some browning before the onions go completely soft. I did start the onions with the pan, so there was always going to be a danger of them going very soft. We're not doing a proper stir fry, we're doing kind of a weird hybrid stir fry. Wegmans. I don't know what a Wegmans is. So, good. Throwing in my garlic. It's a cool grocery store. Well, not around me, it's not. Around me, it's not cool at all. No, it's not. It's not in this region, in this area. Okay, let's see what happens with the jicama. I do live in the land of cheese. But I guess that's a kind of cheese that I just don't have. We don't have here in the land. Okay. Well, if I wait to see what the jicama does, it'll definitely be overcooked by the time we get the beef in there. So the beef goes in now. With my scraper to push it around. Oop, we lost one. Ow. going to grab chopsticks real fast and use it to separate these beeves from each other. Because they're kind of trying to stick together into a big glob, and that's not what we want. We want nice little individual beefy pieces. Okay, those look separated enough to go back to the old tossy toss. When am I going to add the Coke and Oreos? You're right, we probably should do that soon. Throw some salt in there. I think you can get... I'm not even going to pronounce this word. Newski's is a bit far out. Woodman's. I've never seen it at Woodman's. I could try the cheese place here in town. We have a... It's called House of Gouda, but it's not just Gouda. I think our jicama is holding up to the heat in a way that an apple at this stage of cooking definitely would not be. And that I enjoy. So we might have our nice texture at the end. Boy, oops. Well, why you keep the floor of your kitchen clean and drop stuff. Is it any Gouda? Boo. Some of that basil's already gone off, so we for sure want to use up the remainder so that I didn't just waste a bunch of basil. But I tell you, this dish is in desperate need of something green. How you looking in there, buddy? It smells really good. It smells really good. I'm giving it some dried oregano and ooh, I know. We don't need quite that much parsley. There, green stuff. And some shrimps. Ooh, and our jicama is actually getting some really nice color on the edges. It didn't go mushy at all. It in fact got like a wonderful toasty brown on it. So it's, despite being a very similar texture to apple, it's clearly much sturdier. Okay, that looks approximately like a food. The green for sure wakes it up. It looks even better in person. You're getting a little bit washed out on the picture there. Do we add cheese to this? Or is it enough to speak on its own? Also, we need to deal with the white yam, which has continued to slightly discolor as it has been sitting over here. Saizan, you're not first. Also, Saizan, moisten. I can deliver a moisten for you. Moist. This is our surf and turf jicama stir fry with Italian flavor profile going on. And I am going to bring us over Mia. Because the logical way to prep this mash is with the stick blender here. And I guess we're going to go with the black plate so that the stuff pops. That rolled off. Boy, for having just a pile of nonsense at the start, we have turned this into a food. This white yam really wants to discolor fast. French toast toasted. Huge success. Black plate. Little scraper. Little scraper? Little scraper. I hear a bark bark. Bark bark. I thought the dog was gone. Okay, get the big handle off of it. Oh, this stuff is thick. Glad I didn't make a ton of this. I kind of want a different plating now than when I started. And if I had... Oh, come on. Don't. Ugh. Okay. So I know I said on top, but now I have a vision of the mash being off to one side like this and kind of smoothed. And our main event being its own thing kind of heaped over here. Thick. Make sure to get that jicama in there. Sort of do a side-by-side thingy. That was some half and half that I threw in there as a lubricant for the blender. Do this kind of a side-by-side thingy. And it needs a sauce for appearances. It doesn't need a sauce for flavor. It wants like a gravy, which is something I don't have. And it's too late to make. Well, let me set this aside for a sec. Keep you all in anticipation. Because, hey, guess what? I'm doing a thing. Let me clear the workspace a little bit here. The time has come. The time is upon us. The hour is nigh. Okay, and we're going to do this a little bit different. Turn that camera off. And start recording. Okay, we're going to try something a little bit different this time. And we're taste testing Oreo Coke and Coke Oreos, the food crossover of the current now times. Let's give it a proper look-see at the aroma. It smells a lot like Coke. It smells like Coke that's slightly sweeter than Coke. Um, oh. Oh. Oh, interesting. It tastes like Coke. Number one, tastes like Coke. But it really tastes, it's not like vanilla Coke. It's like they're going for the cream filling. They're not going for the chocolate cookie. They're going for the cream filling. I'm not getting any chocolate cookie out of it. Maybe just a whisper. But it really tastes, it's quite nice. It's subtle. It's understated. I think it's more subtle than regular Coca-Cola, and it's definitely way more subtle than vanilla Coca-Cola, where they just dump a bunch of fake vanilla in there. Um, it's it's nice. It's if you didn't tell me it was Oreo flavored, if you didn't, it is sugar free as well. It's 0 sugar. If you didn't tell me it was Oreo flavored, I probably would not be able to tell you it was Oreo flavored. But knowing that that's what they're going for, it tastes like the cream filling mixed with Coke flavor, but in a way where they really combine quite well. And it is the 0 sugar. I couldn't find a non-0 sugar version of it to try it out. I would have tried that because I prefer full sugar sodas. But yeah, I like it. I like it. And then the other side, the other half of this debacle. Oh my God, they're red on one side. Oreo, Coca-Cola. Are they all different? Oh, they are. There you go. That one just says Coke. Open it up. Check out the innards. The cream is very soft. And there's little flecks in it. It's crunchy. I think they're Pop Rocks. Standard Oreo cookie. And I think the red side is a vanilla wafer that's been dyed red. I believe they're Pop Rocks. They popped a little bit. They didn't pop really intensely. They're kind of trapped in the cream. But I got a little bit of a pop out of it. But let's try it as intended, as a whole thing. Altogether, these don't taste like Coca-Cola. They taste, yeah, the filling was softer for sure. These don't taste like Coca-Cola. They taste a lot like Oreos, but they taste like halfway between a regular Oreo and those golden Oreos. The cream is not just standard Oreo cream with little Pop Rocks in it, though. There's some other flavor to it that I can't quite put my finger on. I wish, and I thought this was where they were going to take it. I wish that the cream had been cola flavored. Because cola is such a distinctive flavor. But they didn't seem to go for that. Or if they did, it didn't work. It's kind of, they're nice. They're sweeter than a standard Oreo. And yeah, the filling is very soft. It doesn't want to, well, that one pulled apart pretty well. But the filling feels very soft. Like I can squish it. You can't do that with a standard Oreo filling. So there's something different about the filling. You know, I just took a sniff. I just sniffed it. Because I was holding it up to my nose. And it smells like Coca-Cola. It smells exactly like Coca-Cola. That's kind of amazing. It actually smells more like Coke than the Coke does, because the Coke has a different flavor mixed in. That's kind of amazing. Let me take a deep breath and then try to taste it, see if that works. Just a little bit, just a hair, just a little bit. Oh God, yeah. It. Now that I'm giving it a fruit fly has come to join the party. Now that I'm giving it a smell, it smells like Coke. That's okay. They probably struggled to get the cola flavor to come through without being overpowering. But it's definitely in there because I can smell it. May I need to cleanse my palate after drinking the Coke? Possibly, but when I'm not holding a cookie up to my nose, I don't smell Coke. I just smell air. So, coming from the cookies. Well, I guess that's our taste test. I gotta say, these are nice, but for all the branding, the Coca-Cola-ness of them doesn't really come through very strongly. This stuff is intriguing. I don't know that I'd say it was Oreo if you didn't tell me. But it's quite nice. And honestly, together, having them together is way too much sugar. That's. Oh yeah, it says with popping candy, right? Oh, you can't see it in the glare. It says with popping candy right underneath the Coca-Cola, so it is Pop Rocks. The Pop Rocks get kind of lost in the cream. The flavor is mostly just sweet over here. The flavor over here is very interesting, but kind of nondescript. I like what they're trying to do. I'm going to say I like what they're trying to do. I don't know that it 100% succeeded. I like what they're trying to do. Oh. Let me stop recording real fast since I just got rid of everything. We'll have to clean that up. I didn't take a picture of it. Let's go take a picture of it real fast. Come back and give the formal tasting. I've got a new light on my photo station, so let's see if it's terrible. And I put my phone down. There. Okay. Grab our photo real quick. Ugh, now this is this is not a good light. It's fine. I don't know that this is the most picturesque of all meals I've ever made anyways. Oh. So let's give this the full formal once over with our taster. For starters, I've tasted this side a couple times just by licking my finger after I got some of it on there, and I'm going to do a formal taste with it. But this stuff is really nice. It's very soft, very creamy, fluffy, more so than potatoes. It's got a very light sweetness to it. It's way less sweet than a sweet potato. Oh, you're right. And it's not too late because I haven't messed it up very much. I'm going to cut some chives. I've got some chives in my garden right now. Good thought. Good shout. Good shout. This is why they pay you the big bucks. Perhaps slightly too many. Perhaps slightly too many. I'm gonna go grab a quick reshot with the chives. Ugh. Bringing back the old light too. I gotta figure out how this new light works. By new, I mean it's thrifted light. Oh, it looks so much better. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, this stuff, it's got a faint, almost like celery note to it. It doesn't taste like either potato or sweet potato. It's got a hint of sweetness to it. It is so fluffy and soft. It's hard to describe because it's not quite like anything else I've had, but it's familiar. What am I tasting? What is familiar? It's very good. I will have no difficulty going through the remainder of these white yams, and I will keep an eye out for them in the future because this is very tasty. But you're all here for this side, the main event. I am curious how the jicama. Well, let me find one that's like actually gone toasty. Here. So it had good browning, but it remained sturdy with a little bit of crisp to it. Very similar apple-like crunch from when it was raw. which makes me think they'll hold up to dry heat cooking pretty well, and you can do them in a tossed thing like this. Someone mentioned mash. I forgot. I lost track of who. Someone up there mentioned mash, which suggests that when you boil them, they soften. But pan frying it, tossing it in high heat like that, retained its crispness, so versatility. All right, and then we just grab a big old chunk of everything. Mmm. 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 Wow. Boy, for how simple I made that, that is a roller coaster. Whoa. This cut of beef cooked this way is very tender, but really rich and beefy. Like, these are cooked through. They're, if I grab this piece and pull it open, there's no color inside. It's cooked right through. But it's tender. I mean, you could see how easy it was to just pull it apart. It's so tender. And that was an inexpensive piece of meat as well. I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be a tough piece because of the low cost. Mmm. The fat cap on the top, which you'll remember was melting on my hand while we were cutting it, is, if you didn't like it, I would say trim it off before you got to this point. But if you aren't squeamish about a fat cap, this one is very tender. I didn't even notice biting into it. It's like it's not there. But getting all the elements together, the beef, the jicama, the shrimp, and the pepper. They hit you in waves. The elements hit you. It's not all blended together. It's very rich. The oil and butter and rendered out beef fat in this give it a very rich flavor. It's also an interesting roller coaster of textures, because the beef hits you as its own separate flavor. The shrimp hits you as its own separate flavor. The jicama hits you as its own separate flavor. But also, the beef has this very tender, meaty chew to it. The jicama is got a crunch, like a fresh apple crunch to it, and the shrimp has that sort of, because we just barely kissed it in the heat, so it still has its sort of firm shrimpy texture. It's firmer than the beef is actually. Mmm. Mmm. I'm extremely impressed with all the things I got on discount today. I'm going to keep my eye out for that specific cut of beef in the future, because it was very easy to use. And it was cheap even before like, I got it for 30% off, but it was only $6 before that. And for how good it is. Now, as a steak, probably not the best. But for using it in a recipe, it's really good. Miss Epsy, hi. We're tasting right now. We're on the tail end of tasting. Mmm. The jicama, which we have 3 more of. Also delightful. We'll be playing around with that for sure. Mmm. Mmm. The shrimp was also discounted. The shrimp came in a little plastic tub. It was pre-cooked and it was just basic shrimp. So, but yeah. So 40% off the shrimp, 30% off the beef. The meat altogether, all that shrimp and all that beef cost me $7. And then this massive pile of vegetables, I'm not going to drag them all over here again, but they're all slightly off to the side here, was $3. And our white yam, I'm intrigued by the white yam as well. The sweetness, the slight sweetness goes really, really well with the half and half that I put in there, the dairy. And having this be just the fluffiest, softest thing, and sort of slightly sweet and creamy, to offset this, which is a roller coaster of textures and flavors, and it's spicy and it's rich and it's herbaceous and it's all those things. I'm glad I didn't put this on top of that, which is the chefy way to plate stuff, because I like being able to go back and forth between them instead of having them all together. What would I add? What would I add? Anything. I'm trying to think if I would change anything, or if I would just make this as is again. Like, it doesn't even need cheese. It doesn't need anything. I guess I have no notes. I guess this one's just an unmitigated success, and I have no notes. I guess the one thing I would do is I'd put the jicama in the pan earlier, because I'd be less afraid of it going soft. So then it could get more of the browned edges and develop its flavor a little bit. And then the onion wouldn't have to be in there as long, and the onion could also be more fresh and crisp. So, like, just stick with the ingredients I've got, but change the order in which they go in the pan to better optimize getting the textures on point at the end. Because that's the one thing I think that's letting us down. If I had to pick out one thing, it's that these onions are quite limp. And actually, I think the jalapeno should be swapped out for some bell pepper. And the spicy element can be added in a different way, like as a flake. Well, I guess that's our show. I'm going to go continue enjoying this. I'm extremely impressed with random discount stuff. And we have so much more to play with. I guess stay tuned for one of these creatures coming up, because we're going to have to figure out what to do with one of these beasts as well. Golly gee. if you've got any ideas what to do with any of the roots we've got left, that being our white yams, celery root, and jicama, I got tons of all of this, so give me a shout and I'll give them a try. Or if you just want to see me strike forth on a wild experiment, drop that in the old discount bin, or the discount bin, the suggestion bin too. Let me, while I've got you all here, before you all scatter to the far winds, let me drop a quick Discord link for any of you that happen to not be in there. Pile on in. Come on. Check it out. Show me your food. Check out my food. Yes. Pie with the jicama. That. Now, they didn't soften up as much as I thought they were going to, so now it might not work as well, but still worth checking out, and we've got an abundance of jicama, so worth checking out. I will keep that one in mind. Yeah. Okay. I think my internet has stabilized from when we were at the beginning, because now I'm opening things and they're actually opening. So let me pull up my face. There's me. Hi, me. I'm going to drop you guys off somewhere else. Oop. I got a spinny, loady thing. I'm going to attempt to drop you guys off somewhere else. Sweet jicama fries. I've heard of that one, and they look like they would behave quite well in that regard. What do we got? Should we try a food channel? Probably should. Drop off on one of these food channels. Here, 2-year Twitchiversary baking stream. Let's go find out what that is all about. We're going to go check out Nambule. I have no idea who this is. They're doing a 2-year Twitchiversary baking stream in a new house and are apparently coming back to streaming. So we're going to just drop off and find out. Fun, completely blind food raid. I don't even know what they're cooking. They're cooking, there's ingredients strewn all over the place, and there's a big bowl of flour in the middle. So we're going to find out together. Anyways, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for the 2 big sub bombs that dropped in chat earlier. And thank you for the bits. And I lost my feed because there's a raid window up. Thank you for all that nonsense. Sorry, I yesterday was a weird day, and I completely got hyper fixated on something, and I lost track of time, which is why we didn't do it yesterday. But it worked out because some of these things that we cooked I didn't have yesterday, so it would have been a different thing altogether, and it worked out putting it off and finding more things to jam into this pile. So yeah, I will be back. Gosh, I might even come back early because I got so many ingredients just to do more of this, just to get them out the door. But thanks. There's our countdown. Bye!